The House has officially passed a new bill, mainly by the Republicans, and now the Democrats are doing something they never thought they would do, is look to Mitch McConnell to be the Grim Reaper. I'll let you know what that all means, what the bill is about, and I'll also give the Democrats' perspective on what's going on with the debt ceiling and how they manage on dealing with that. President Biden coming out saying that he is going to run for re-election, and one of his biggest messages is that Republicans are going to cut Medicare and Social Security. But is that true? I'll give you the details on that. New stimulus checks going out in one state, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. So last week, President Biden came out and said that he is running for 2024, the presidential election. Let me know your thoughts on that. Good idea, bad idea? Are you happy with him, not happy with him? Is it going to be a Trump-Biden rematch? Let me know your thoughts on that. But anyways, Biden's 2024 message: Republicans will cut your Medicare and Social Security. Democrats aim to weaponize GOP Medicare Social Security plans. Senior voters seen as crucial voting bloc in election. Now, it seems that this narrative keeps going where President Biden and the Democrats keep accusing Republicans of cutting Medicare or Social Security despite no recent legislation proving that this is going to happen. I admit there were some stuff that the Republicans did say in the past, but in the recent year, I would say, Republican Party as a whole hasn't done anything to say that they are cutting Medicare or Social Security. So, it'd be great if they did show some proof, at least some recent proof of that. Democrats look to McConnell, the man they called Grim Reaper, for debt help. What does that mean? So Democrats say they need Mitch McConnell to prevent a market-upending debt default, viewing the Senate Republican leader they once derided as the Grim Reaper as more of a pragmatist and a deal maker than newly employed House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. So basically what's going on here is Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans passed a new bill. House passes GOP debt limit bill as McCarthy tries to draw Biden into negotiations. A Republican bill to raise the debt limit and slash government funding passed the House and was won over a group of GOP holdouts, and the bill serves as House Republicans' opening bid in talks with President Joe Biden later this year over the debt limit and federal budget, and the White House called the bill a reckless attempt to extract extreme concessions and said Biden would veto it if it reached his desk. So is this bill dead upon delivery? So let's hear the Democrat perspective of the bill, as well as what the Democrats plan on doing for the debt ceiling crisis. Is Medicare, Social Security on the chopping block? We haven't really heard it from the Democrats' perspective, mainly the Republicans' perspective up until now. Take a look at this.
So joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman out of Washington and Senior Whip of the House Democratic Caucus, Pramila Jayapal. Welcome to you, ma'am. Thank you for being here. Look, this bill, it won't make it through the Senate. The White House is still calling for a clean debt ceiling raise. My question is, what happens now?
Well, Simone, it's good to see you. And I think you really went through critical pieces of this ridiculous situation that we find ourselves in, which is that Republicans are being incredibly hypocritical when they are talking about throwing our economy into chaos. Because remember, they passed a clean debt ceiling under Trump 3 times, as Minority Leader Jeffrey said. And also, when they were in power, they increased the deficit by $2 trillion with their Republican tax scam in 2017. By the way, 50% of those tax cuts went to the top 5% of people. So to suddenly say that, oh, we want to watch spending, their first bill, this Congress, Simone, was to strip the IRS of agents who were going to go after wealthy tax cheats and bring in more revenue and reduce the deficit. So what happens now is they're going to push this with gamesmanship, threaten throwing the economy into a recession. 7 million people could lose jobs. You've already talked about the cuts that we would see to DHS, but what about the cuts to Social Security, to Medicare, to Veterans Affairs? I mean, all of these things are going to get cut. And until they realize that we are not going to go along with that, we're not going to listen to hostage takers. We're going to hold our position. And at the end of it, they're going to have to pass a clean debt ceiling.
So, Congresswoman, folks out there may have forgotten, but I did not, that in the 118th Congress, this rules package allows members to actually force a bill past committee and onto the floor with something that's called a discharge petition if it's signed by the majority of members. So is that how a clean debt ceiling bill comes to the floor? Is that a feasible path forward?
That is absolutely a path, and I think it's going to rely, obviously, on a handful of responsible Republicans. It's also going to rely on the Senate. And Republicans in the Senate are going to have to speak to their House colleagues and tell them that they are not willing to throw the economy into a recession. We are not going to default on our debt. So the debt ceiling discharge petition could be one option, but also Republicans could just get reasonable and start to respond to their constituents who don't want these cuts either.
Let's talk about the possibility of defaulting because I think people need to understand. Let's take some data from Third Way. In your state of Washington, according to Third Way, a think tank, more than 74,000 people would lose their jobs. The average mortgage would increase by more than $170,000, and more than 868,000 households could miss their Social Security check. That's a lot of folks, Congresswoman. So what are you telling your constituents about just the stakes here and how you're navigating this dilemma?
Well, the stakes are enormous. I mean, under the Biden administration, we brought unemployment down to the lowest level in over half a century. We created, 10 million new jobs. Republicans are going to throw us back into a recession. People are going to lose their jobs. They're not going to be able to get their Social Security payments. Small businesses are not going to be able to get loans. Childcare is not going to be available because childcare workers are not going to get paid. So my constituents are saying to me, what is wrong with these Republicans? Because this is going to affect their own constituents. And like you said in your opening, Simone, it's important that people understand this is not the time to negotiate a budget. We have a time to negotiate a budget. That comes with the appropriations process. This is about stuff that we already agreed to. Republicans couldn't get their extreme budget through, and that's why they're trying to hold us hostage now. This is just about paying our bills. And then once we do that, we can go into the process of negotiating a budget.
Is this current conversation or dilemma, if you will, as it relates to the debt ceiling, is it putting the budget negotiations in jeopardy? Because the 2024 budget is supposed to be passed by Congress and then signed by the president no later than October 1st if we're trying to avoid a government shutdown.
Right. It does put everything into jeopardy because the longer this goes on, the less time we have to work on the rest of the things that we need to do. I think what Republicans are going to end up doing is passing some sort of a continuing resolution for the budget. You know, I have never liked that on the Democratic side or the Republican side. I think we should get these budgets done on time and take away the uncertainty for our agencies and for the American people. But I think that's what they're going to end up doing. And what they're trying to do is conflate these two things. Say that, oh, we're being reasonable. We're giving you a proposal. No, they're giving us a proposal on the budget, which is fine. They should do that. And we're happy to talk about that. But the debt ceiling, we have raised it dozens of times. Democrats have done it under Republican presidents. Republicans have done it under Democratic presidents. It is an obligation, a constitutional obligation of our country to pay our bills. And by the way, it doesn't just throw the American economy into chaos. It throws the world economy into chaos if America defaults on our bill. This is the default on America bill that they passed. It is absolutely atrocious, and it shows that they can't govern.
What are your thoughts there, and how does it compare to the Republican perspective from your perspective? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. And incoming cash, one-time direct payment between $250 and $500 from $6.6 billion surplus pot going out this week. So most Georgia taxpayers will begin receiving income tax rebates in May. The funds made possible by recently passed bill, House Bill 162. And basically, from this bill, it's going to give out $250 to solo filers, $375 to head of household filers, and then couples would get $500. And it looks like it's going to start going out in May. Looks like the next payment will drop on time tomorrow, May 1st. Looks like those checks are going out. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Oh, sorry guys, I didn't see this. Can I tell you something? What I want to do is go to the moon. I need to go to the moon. Never mind. What do you want? Tell me in the comments below and see what you want. If you want to do something, then accomplishment. Do what you want, because that after you get too old to not do what you want. Oh, bye. The moon, bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So this weekend, went to a wedding in New York. It was actually a Nigerian wedding. So cool. Never been to a Nigerian wedding before. All the rituals, all the colors of dresses and the clothes and everything. It was so cool. Here's some video clips of that. Awesome time. Hopefully you had a good weekend. If you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Be safe. Thank you for watching.